Dumping the clutch. Whoa! Woo! Yeah, baby! Now that's the way we roll in the motherfucking Missouri. I'm sorry, I just been a cuss, buddy. Backing off the throttle.
Hello once again and welcome to the Prince Magnum channel where hot rodding and romance do coexist. I'm your host Prince Magnum and welcome to Do-It-Yourself Budget Hot Rodding. More in particular, this is the footage that we took at the Azalea Festival here in 2018. Right away, you'll all notice that this is taken in historical Fredericktown, Missouri. And right next to their courthouse. Courthouse has been there for years. Don't ask me how long. I just know it's been there for years. The cars that were there were absolutely gorgeous. Seen all walks of life, young, old, and every point in between. There was people who brought cars of all different genres. You're going to see a wide selection of amazing rides out here. I mean, from restored to completely original, to hot rods, to resto rods, you name it, it was here. From American tuner cars to there was even a few Japanese tuners. There was even a couple British cars. I mean, the show was amazing. You'll all be happy to know that Project Spirit also took third place in her class, and it was Project Lena's first car show. It was her debut in the car show scene, and even though she didn't place, a lot of people fell in love with her. And of course, it was wonderful to be able to be at the show with my good buddy Bruce, who's the store manager at the Fredericktown McDonald's, with his 2003 Mitsubishi Eclipse. For those who've kept up with the channel, the same one that was in the video, the Fredericktown, the Hot Rodders of Fredericktown McDonald's. So from here, I'm going to do the wisest thing I can. I'm just going to shut up, and you all can listen to music while the video continues on, and I'll just jump in from time to time and point out some really cool stuff.
got room. Look at it. God dang. They sound nice, don't they? Love that Barracuda. God. Could you give me another big rev, please? Ah, you killed it. Ah, it's all good. Out here representing my our YouTube channels.
Are you?
Yeah, yeah.
As you heard in that last clip, you know, as soon as I mentioned that that Burt TV and the Prince Magnum channel were present for this car show, right away people were like, "Oh, be sure to get plenty of footage of their rides," you know, and that was really nice. You know, one of the things that I will repeatedly say about Fredericktown, Missouri, is they're very open to YouTube being in their town, especially if it's positive. They're always very, very kind. Again, going back to you know, when we did the review on the pig and did the review on Scoops, the custard shop that's over there in Fredericktown. Again, thank you to Fredericktown, Missouri, for allowing the Prince Magnum channel and Burt TV to be present for the car show. Now, while we're on the subject, again, you'll see all different types of vehicles. I mean, these guys were really, really kind to let me walk around their Mopar machines, and a lot of footage from the show itself. This one, I got more than one shot, and of course, to go along with, you know, seeing that C6 sitting there, believe it or not, it was a gentleman who was retired and had worked his whole life. You know, by golly, he earned it. You know, he earned that C6. You know, those aren't cheap. Real quick, while we're talking about that shot, you know, the shots that I was getting, the El Camino you see sitting there is actually a friend of mine that I had the opportunity to work with when I was at Fredericktown McDonald's. He actually him and his dad put that car back on the road, and gorgeous looking El Camino. Had to make sure I got that in the shot. Also, one of the things that was really prevalent down here was the custom pickup trucks. Pickup truck culture down here in the custom scene has exploded in the last couple of years. So it's not uncommon to see trucks of all sizes and shapes. Of course, you're starting to see more and more of the American tuners becoming popular down here. When I say American tuners, what some of you mistakenly call modern muscle cars. And again, you know, seeing a lot of old classics. Take a look at this beautiful, beautiful looking Chevy pickup pulling in. The guy was really, you know, real nice guy. Thank you for waving at the camera. You know, matter of fact, the two gentlemen work on those trucks together. The Studebaker truck that you see sitting right here was actually brought in on a flatbed. There's not too many parts available for the Studebaker nowadays, you know, so he had to bring it in on a flatbed. It's just one of those things. But he brought it in on the flatbed, and you know, just gorgeous looking truck. For those who like Ford F-150s, there you go. Well, the Ford pickups. Real quick, you know, while you all are enjoying some of the wonderful footage again from the Azalea Festival this year, 2018. Real quick, let's talk about some of the things that also happened, you know, during the day. One of the things that also happened was that I got the opportunity to run into a friend of mine from high school, and real good gal. We kind of lost touch, but we've gotten reacquainted, I guess you could say, and has a daughter that's graduated, actually, as I'm making this video, or putting the final touches on it, has graduated from high school. The young lady, Miss Madison, she just immediately fell in love with Project Spirit. I said, have you got your cell phone on you? Yes. I said, turn it to video mode. And I opened up the door and videoed her behind the wheel of Project Spirit for her to show off to all of her friends. Miss Madison, if you have the opportunity to watch this, just know I was thinking of you as we were doing this video. And congratulations on graduating high school. Now, back to the video. Take a look at this beautiful, beautiful 1970 Buick Skylark GS convertible with its 445 Stage 2 that's under the hood. I have a video clip that's going to be released in a music video where I actually was riding kind of side by side in Project Spirit with this car, and when I told the guy that I had the camera going, well, I said, I seen you on 67 the other day. He's like, you did? And I said, yes, I was the guy in the powder blue Maverick. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, where did you bring the car? I said, she's over there, So he went over and took a look at Project Spirit. But yeah, I told him that I was going to use his car he's like, you definitely got to, as soon as we see each other again, make sure as soon as that video is up, I want to see it. Again, there was vehicles of all sizes and shapes out here. Of course, the Firebirds were were in force that day. The shoebox Chevys, there was quite a few shoebox Chevys. And for those who do not know, the shoebox Chevys is 55, 56, and 57 Chevy Bel Airs, or any 57. Those three Chevys, because there was also the Del Rey. Just great cars like that. So they were out there in force. Again, this was Project Lena's debut in car shows. This was her very first car show. And at first, people kind of, didn't really give her, the initial glance that she deserved. We found that when we lowered the hood, instead of having it up and they could see the pinstriping, then the attention was on her. Of course, Project Spirit, in her usual, folks, Project Spirit's never had body work, and that's what really set her aside from a lot of others. And there was a lot of Mustangs out there, for you Ford fanatics. There was a lot of Mustangs. There was a few other Fords, but it was mostly Mustangs. And this is a great example of one Mustang that was there, gorgeous looking ride. But Project Spirit, because she was so different, a lot of people, once they got over the fact that she was a little beat up and they started really looking at her, this was very commonplace, what you're seeing in this video clip right here. They read the boards, they fell in love with her, and the pictures were on. Again, a lot of amazing looking rides out here. As a matter of fact, that that GMC that's sitting right there in that shot actually has a Pontiac engine under the hood. I forget what size, I'm sorry, I don't remember. Again, F-bodies were out there. There was even the lowrider that you see in this shot. There was one Pontiac GTO Judge. I believe it was a 69, which you'll see fenced off. Guy drove it there, and he put the poles up to keep everybody from getting too close. He worked very hard on it. But people seen the camera, and a lot of people tried to get out of the shot as much as possible. Some people stopped and waved. It was just an awesome, awesome, awesome day. Again, I want to thank the people of Fredericktown for allowing us to come to the show and really show, just be the Prince Magnum channel as we know it. Take a look at that beautiful CUDA in that shot. And of course, I forget what that car is, but yeah, you'll see all walks of life. And you'll even, here in a little bit, we'll cut, you're going to see some really unusual engines that you wouldn't suspect in some vehicles. So I'm going to shut up again and let y'all just listen to a little bit of music and enjoy the show as I seen it. So far, you all are seeing some amazing rides in this video. I mean, some of them are absolutely gorgeous, beautifully restored, or built for speed. In the next clip, I mean, you're going to see something you just don't see every day. I mean, granted, you don't see a lot of this stuff every day, but take a look at this ride here. This beautiful looking Ford sitting here, I believe it was out of the 1930s, with that rumble seat. Now, most people don't even know what a rumble seat is, but it got its name because it bounces you around, kind of beats you up. But you don't see cars set up like this anymore. And beautifully restored, beautifully. Can't help but enjoy it. Take a look at this amazing restored 327, the unsung hero of the performance world in 1960s from Chevrolet. Most people have never seen a 327, so there you go. Take a look at this beautiful Dodge Challenger. The person who brings it to car shows, I see him every time. Very, very nice guy. Tons of trophies on that ride. Tons of them. And again, just an amazing people that bring that car every time. Again, it was in Princess Faye's class and Bruce's class. They were competing against each other. It was nothing but Mustangs that really took that class. I don't want to sound bitter, but I mean, usually Mustangs are in their own class. Camaros and Firebirds are in their own class. This is one of the few car shows that I have ever been to that Mustangs were not in their own class, and Camaros and Firebirds were not in their own class. They were kind of all lumped together. So that did make it kind of difficult. And whenever we run into classes like that, well, we just expect that, it's going to be a Mustang, a Camaro, or a Firebird that's going to take the class that Princess Faye is in before she actually gets a shot at that class. That's just one of those things. Again, really the bulk of what you're seeing, from Fords, I mean, you see mostly Mustangs, which that's not uncommon. For some odd reason, Project Spirit was the only Maverick there. But here in a second, you're going to see a beautiful, beautiful Ford, something you just don't see every day. You're going to see a beautiful 57 Ford Fairlane. Again, vehicles of the 1950s were just absolute works of art, and it is my favorite time period for cars just because they're so gorgeous. Again, the 55, 56, and 57, the shoebox Chevys were in force. Unfortunately, I didn't see any 57 Chevys this day. They're very heartbreaking. I wish I would have seen some 57 Chevys, but we didn't see any. We seen some 55s and 56s, which is those are still gorgeous looking cars, but we didn't see any in the 57. Again, lots of amazing rides out there. I think I've seen that car at a couple different shows. That particular Corvette was also at the last car show that will also be, the video footage will be edited soon. Was right here in Bonne Terre at the North County High School. There's an amazing 70 Monte Carlo. You don't see those every day. Monte Carlos is kind of the gentleman's Chevelle, I guess you could say. And there is that beautiful 57 Ford Fairlane. Gorgeous looking car. Love it. Can't help but fall in love with a car like that. Beautiful, isn't it? Again, the 1950s, I mean, my favorite time period to work on cars is always going to be the 70s, but for works of art, you got to say that it's the 50s that has the most beautiful cars you will ever see in your life. Some people may not understand why I say that, but just when you see these amazing rides and just how the lines flow, and each of them is just a work of art, well, you just can't help but fall in love with them, okay? Again, here at the Azalea Festival, the trucks were in force. You just see so many beautiful pickup trucks. Of course, there's your 57 T-Bird. Can't have a car show without a 50s T-Bird with its amazing Y-block V8. I know that sounds kind of odd, and still one of the most sought-after engines in drag racing. That 50s pickup truck, I learned to drive stick in a 1951 Chevy pickup that had a 4-speed in it. To my knowledge, they only came with 3-speed, so that's something that kind of was put in it later. But I learned to drive stick in a 1951 Chevy, so seeing that truck just brought back some really fond memories of learning to drive stick. And of course, we know that I drive stick in Project Spirit every day. That particular lowrider sitting there, believe it or not, I know the guys at White Trash Customs that did that truck, and it takes trophies at pretty much every car show I have ever been at. And of course, Firebirds were in force this day. Gorgeous looking Pontiac Firebird sitting right there, beautifully restored. Just breaks the heart, that you don't see cars like that every day on the road, like I remember when I was a kid growing up in the 80s. Just beautifully done. A 1933 Pontiac, you don't see those every day. Gorgeous, gorgeous looking ride. And take a look at the straight 8 under the hood. Oh man, wow. You know, it's cars like this that I fall in love with. You know, what can I say? You know, I love cars like that. Again, for me, taking a walk, getting footage. Burt, he really enjoyed being at this car show. He just immediately fell in love with every last car that was there. Of course, he got tons of footage of Project Spirit, and I know that's up on his channel. You're welcome to check out Burt TV right here on YouTube. Just amazing, absolutely amazing, footage that we got that day. Now, here's some again. There was only a handful of people that were running the inline sixes in their projects, and seeing one in that pickup truck. Again, the inline six was durable, so it worked great on the farm. So a lot of people really, even to this day, if you go onto a farm and you see an old truck, it's not uncommon to find an inline six under the hood, just because they last forever. Again, Pontiac Le Mans with a Pontiac 350 under the hood. A lot of people forget how awesome the Pontiac Le Mans and the Tempest really were, and the GTOs were based on the Le Mans and the Tempest. The GTO was just the more performance-oriented of the three, but the Le Mans and Tempest were still absolutely, in my opinion, deserve just as much credit as being awesome cars, because that's just the way it is. I think even my dad had a 1967 Pontiac Tempest, if I remember correctly. Had the 326 under the hood, and good cars. Take a look at this gorgeous looking Impala drop top. You'd be surprised to find what's under the hood. I know here in a little bit I'll get a shot of that. She actually there you go, an inline 230. So Project Spirit was one of a few that actually still had a 6-cylinder under the hood, if you will, the inline 6. Again, inline 6s are great engines, and if you take good care of them, they'll last you forever, as we have seen here on the Prince Magnum channel, because we do love Project Spirit. Another beautiful Chevy pickup, I forget the year. This particular old Ford came in. The gal and her husband had bought this car like this, and just sunk a huge chunk of change into buying this vehicle. And of course, being pulled behind it is a matching trailer. And she's like, "Be sure to get tons of footage." I started to turn away, and she's like, "You get back here and you get a shot of that trailer." I said, "Okay." So I took a little longer with her vehicle, just because she's like, "You don't get to take off without getting a shot of that trailer." She was the only one, I believe, that showed up with the matching trailer to her ride. So thank you for that, for pushing me to get that extra shot. Again, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and shut up and to let you all, again, enjoy the Azalea Festival as I seen it, which is, just good music and a lot of good people. It was just, again, an amazing, amazing day, spending time just hobnobbing with the general public. And I'll jump back in here in a little bit and tell you a little bit more about the day's events. All right, by this point, the car show's starting to wind down. Still some amazing shots that I was able to get for the show. Like here in a moment, you're going to see this beautiful 67 Camaro that I had gotten earlier, but I got an extra shot because it had an amazing LS swap, so I had to get an extra shot of it in just because it was such an amazing car. At this point, poor Burt was wore out. He went back to the cars with Princess Faye and my good buddy from high school, T-Bone, who was out here getting ideas for his GMC Jimmy that is going to be doing car shows, hopefully here pretty soon. Just gorgeous looking truck. Also, you know, hopefully see Bruce and another good friend of mine named Brian, who's doing a he's working on a Ford Focus that should be doing shows too here soon. There's that Camaro I was talking about. Special thank you again to the people of Fredericktown for allowing this car show to happen around their historic courthouse. Special thank you to the Foothills Car Club for putting the show on. I want to thank you all very much. You're always very welcoming of the Prince Magnum channel every time we're at a car show. And at one time was, I myself was an honorary member of the Foothills Car Club. Also, that brings us to the usual spot. Be sure to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. If you're really savvy, you're going to hit the bell icon. You'll be notified every time we upload a brand new video. Any positive feedback is always appreciated. Be sure to leave it in the box below on any ideas that you might have for the Prince Magnum channel, something you would like to see. Be sure to take a look at my Patreon account, and if you have any money to donate, it's always appreciated. Also, the usual. Get out there and work on a project. Don't care what it is. Just do something with yourself. Idle hands and a creative mind just don't make good bedfellows. If you have a sweetheart, sweep them off their feet. Do something special for them. You know, you might take them to a car show. You never know. They might like that. And, as always, for all of you out there, if no one out there has told any of you that they love you today, Prince Magnum does. God bless you, and have a happy 24. Thank you.
Now take your ass on down to Oshag Hennessy's office right now and tell him exactly what you did. Get out of my goddamn classroom before I break my foot off in your ass. Insubordinate and churlish.